Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, you folks are in for a real treat today. Who knows where this show's going to end up? It's kind of crazy. One of the problems I have is that I'm known for research. I have tens of thousands of hours of research on sextortion. That's blackmail with a photo, if you don't know that. And child pornography and human trafficking, sex trafficking, labor trafficking, social media exploitation, money laundering. I've been studying this stuff for years and years and years and years. And then I get on the radio and try to make sense of it to you guys. Well, that isn't always as easy as we might think. And there is some really interesting stuff going on right now. So I'm going to try to put it in a little capsule where you can digest it, but I may wander around. The title for this show is called Nowhere to Hide. And truthfully, there is a lot of stuff happening out there, a lot of stuff happening. And we really can't pick up on it because our attention is so diverted with the COVID crisis and how many cases and what's open and what's closed and whether we can get a hamburger this week and whether you can get a beer or not somewhere. It's kind of a moving target all the time. Then you have these protests, and every now and then they come to our community and bust out windows and tear down statues, and things are just happening everywhere. Our kids apparently aren't going to go back to school except for when they are. And maybe they are, and maybe they're not, and maybe they're going to be online. And now they're putting kindergartners in first grade online. Holy cow. Holy cow. Our world is a changing place. So the title of this show I've called Nowhere to Hide, because regardless of all of those things that are taking place and getting your attention, kind of bubbling underneath the surface are a lot of other things that are happening that most of us are not aware of, unless you're some sort of weird freak like myself that studies this stuff. You probably aren't aware of the impact of what's taking place on Capitol Hill as we speak. And so we're going to be talking about the big app companies and virtual or artificial intelligence, not virtual reality, although sometimes I think all of it at this point is virtual, whether it's reality or not, I'm not sure. But we are going to be talking about what is taking place with the big app companies. App companies like Apple and Facebook, even Amazon and Google, and ByteDance, that is the owner of TikTok. We're going to talk about the impact of what is being looked at on Capitol Hill and how that will affect your life. And we're going to look at the future of money and cryptocurrency and fiat transactions or currency transactions. All app companies and chat rooms, and yes, even online gaming companies have total access to your soul. I am not kidding you. If you have Siri, I have a 84-year-old cousin who I love with all my heart. And I tell her, quit telling Siri your secrets, because Siri can't keep a secret, okay? They place those little devices in your house, and when you speak to them, it is recorded. And so stop giving away your secrets. You feel like these people have access to your soul. Well, at least darn near, and they're close. Most app companies have never charged you a dime to use their services. So have you ever wondered how they ever got to be $1 trillion company? I mean, think about how do they make their money? There are no secrets left on earth. It is that simple. Forget about the crazy protests and all this social isolation and the fact that the grocery store won't take your coins anymore. Your life has been turned over to phantom influencers, and most of us are oblivious to it, quite frankly. Today, I'm going to share with you that as we speak on Capitol Hill, you are seeing a global race to dominate the real time sale of your most private informations. I'm talking private, folks, your bathroom habits. Have you noticed that the TV ads lately have become really blatant? I'm like, TMI, folks, I don't want to know that much about your bathroom habits. Your sexual preferences are being sold and influenced. Think about this. These companies use ads to tell your kids that they may not be a boy, they may not be a girl, they are gender neutral. And they can be anything they want. They're selling all about your allergies, your every scab, your every itch, your every cut, your ever most personal problem on there. They're selling whether you prefer boxers or briefs. No adjustment needed. I couldn't resist that. Sorry. But the same is true for your child, too. Do you think they really go on and say, well, I think this kid might be under 12, so we can't do that? Are you kidding me? There are special programs to get your child to reveal their most intimate information. They're not supposed to be selling that, but many of them absolutely do. So in this show, we're going to talk about where this is headed because it can be just downright scary. What happens if that app company is a Chinese company? Like the one that owns the biggest app in the world called TikTok? That's a Chinese company, and they're on Capitol Hill being investigated. In fact, just yesterday, I have it right here. Let's see, what's that headline say? That the federal government employees will now not be allowed to use TikTok app on a federal device because it's a Chinese company. But our kids are all on it. I bet their kids are on it. And yet, we're not allowed to use that with a federal device, anything that's issued to the government. What happens when there's no more dollar bills? It probably won't be long till they declare dollar bills as being unsanitary, as a means of transaction. Already, everywhere that you look, you go to McDonald's, they want you to use an EBT card. Already, welfare for the longest time hasn't paid cash in a long time. They give an EBT card out there. There are many businesses that now only take credit card. We see this a lot at Lowe's. I've been doing a lot of refurbishing around the house since we're isolated. All of a sudden, you take a look around your house and go, wow, we needed to fix that up. I was perfectly happy leaving that alone going off to the office before. Now I look at it and go, oh, man. So probably home improvement stock might not be all bad for what it's worth. But what happens when there are no more dollar bills and the only way to purchase something is through online activity or through an electronic transfer? And they are capturing your political persuasions, your spiritual beliefs in some cases, your most intimate physical issues, and even your sexual preferences. You see, our world is rapidly changing. So this is important to understand because we're now putting 5-year-olds on the internet, 6-year-olds on the internet, 8-year-olds on the internet. They're in a world without borders where they can be accessed with all kinds of people that will be able to influence them. And some of those people work at major corporations that made the app they're using. Okay, so we do have some requirements that we say, okay, you're not supposed to be on TikTok if you're under 12. Are you kidding me? I'm making this up, but it wouldn't surprise me if 25% of the people on TikTok are under 12 years old. And I can guarantee you that 70% of America's parents don't have a clue that you're supposed to be 12 years old before you're on TikTok, because no kid in their right mind is going to tell their parent that. They want to be on it. So how do we prepare this next generation to live in a world without borders and controlled by phantom organizations that will determine how they should grow up and vote, how you should vote right now, how we spend our money, how we communicate to the closest people. There has never been a more challenging time in life to be a parent. You agree with me, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa? It is a wild and changing time. So stay with us. We're going to be coming up against that break shortly, and we're going to go deep into what is happening on Capitol Hill that will change your life that nobody seems to be talking about. It's that phantom corporation. It's not really there, I think. This is Opal. We'll be right back.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, there are many good restaurants in the Inland Empire, but really great restaurants are hard to find. Let me tell you about the Toasted Barrel in Corona. It's a trendy, upscale steakhouse with great pasta and seafood. It's a fantastic choice for birthdays and anniversaries or just that special night out with your loved one and friends. Inland Empire magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant and Brunch for the past 3 years. The owners, Ed and Shirley, are friendly and attentive to your needs. If you're a prime rib connoisseur, this place is for you. Go ahead and try it out. The Toasted Barrel, located at 1300 El Sobrante Road in Corona. Or Google them at Toasted Barrel to make reservations. I guarantee you, you're going to love it. Be sure and tell Ed and Shirley that Opal sent you. It will be a night you'll never forget.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about there is nowhere to hide, especially if you're living on the internet. This is an interesting time because we have a convergence of activities taking place that literally cannot get airtime because of all the other activities that are taking place. And yet I'm going to tell you, I'll be maybe the first to tell you that these activities are taking place will have more impact on your life in the next 6 to 9 months than probably what is happening right before your eyes. And that is that you have a convergence of activity. You have a whole lot of app companies that are coming under a lot of scrutiny at Capitol Hill. And it's a fascinating thing because they're having to do it by live streaming. They are interviewing these app companies, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Google, by live streaming. And they're saying it's just not nearly as effective as getting them on the hot seat. But the reason they're looking at them is the size. These companies have become so large that they absolutely dominate and control our lives. And this is taking place at the same time that some of them are talking about introducing their own cryptocurrency, like a Bitcoin, doing away with money, doing online financial transaction, while they're influencing your child. And they're doing all of this, and they're saying, but all of this is taking place because they are taking all your personal data and reselling it. And somehow they seem to think as long as that's an American company that Congress can control and it doesn't get too big, and they can use them to monitor a political message one way or the other, which is what's going on right now with Twitter and Facebook as they censor the president and certain religious groups. You have all of this taking place as we are about to get global cryptocurrencies that will literally track every transaction of your life. So I'm going to break this down over the next three segments on this. I thought seriously about not doing it because it's a very complex issue, but I hope you'll stay with me because I believe that this is an important message. It was interesting at break. I was talking to my producer, and he was giving me a quote of Vladimir Lenin. Said, "Give me 4 years to teach the children, and the seed I have sown will not be uprooted." I want to say that again because I think it's very important that we understand what is said here. Give me 4 years to teach the children, and the seed I have sown will never be uprooted. You see, this is important, especially important as I started to realize this week that we're going to be putting our 5 and 6 and 7-year-old kids online, as we are not going to have, in many cases, live schooling in a facility where they go in and can interact. And this means everything to us. So what is happening? Well, first of all, the big ones, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Google, are all being under scrutiny at Capitol Hill. And this is important to understand. First of all, what you need to understand is they're no longer the biggest. Actually, ByteDance is the biggest. I'll come to you. In fact, let me just start out with that. Here's a headline. By the way, all of this is available at millionkids.org, MILLION. Millionkids.org is our organization. Just go there and we'll get these links. But this headline is written by Tony Rahm and Drew Harwell. TikTok raises national security concerns in Congress as Schumer and Cotton ask for federal review. Now, this is last fall. They still are pounding away on this very issue. This is Schumer and Cotton, one Democrat, one Republican, and they are taking on TikTok as a national security risk. Well, you say, why would they do that? Why don't they do that with Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Google, Amazon? Well, they do, but they do that in a different way. Why is that? Because TikTok is owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance. And you see, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, they've all been collecting your data. Think about this. When did you ever give Facebook a dime? You haven't. Or WhatsApp or Snapchat? You don't. They are a $1 trillion company because they are selling everything about you. If you've had appendicitis, that information is already out to the pharmaceutical companies to begin to appeal to you. If you have a head cold and you go to CVS and you get a nose spray, did you know that CVS will sell that information right back to Facebook, who sells it out to all that nose sprays competition? And all of a sudden you start getting offers for nose spray. And they know exactly when you had your cold and what brand you are using. Now, I could get real personal with you, but I won't. because all of us have something that nobody really should need to hear about. But they will track that and they will sell it. Well, what happens if the company that's tracking it, we say, well, we accept that with Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Apple, Google. I mean, think about how Google operates. They're running around taking a picture of your house and your car in front of your house, and they're putting it out there, and we all think that's cool, except it's out there and it's out there forever, and they are making money on that. And so you say to yourself, well, okay, I accept that all those people do it, but what happens when the biggest app company in the world, bigger than the U.S. companies, is a Chinese company that is doing the same thing? Well, so what they're doing is they're looking at this. He said the company said it stores U.S. user data inside the U.S. and it's not subject to Chinese law. You see, what they're looking at is TikTok is a Chinese company. Where are they storing that information? Well, I want to take it a step further, because the thing that they're not talking about up here is that when you use the TikTok app, and I'm not going to say any app is bad. Apps are an innate object. Quite frankly, some apps are worse than the others. The biggest thing with TikTok is you are going to talk to people you don't know. I understand that Leo Laporte last week, I was inundated with all kinds of, will you call Leo and straighten him out? Okay, we'll work with that. He's saying how wonderful TikTok is. There are many, many good things about TikTok, but you are supposed to be 12 years old to be on it, because theoretically you have some sort of cognitive judgment. If you're going to be 9 years old and you're out there twerking, you are connected to the whole world, and the whole world is connected to you. Photos have GPS on them. And so therefore, these app companies know exactly where you live and your child lives. On top of it, it is connected, in the case of TikTok, back to your cell phone, so that you take that cute little video. And I will tell you, there are some cute ones out there. Every now and then I'm on it, I look at it, but I have adult judgment, and I also am trained in the business to know what to look for. I'm also looking for people that are violating it so that we can get them off there. But if they're on there and they're doing that, then anybody in the world that is viewing that video can send a text back to your child. So think about TikTok. They are a Chinese company that knows where you live. They have the facial image of your child. They have their profile, and they have their mobile address. So where is this going to go in the future? This is why it is so important. Interesting enough, our Congress thought that was okay for years and years and years with Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and WhatsApp, because that information was U.S. But what happens when it's starting to be used politically? For instance, like right now, there is censorship taking place on Facebook. Many ads are not allowed to be on there if they don't agree with the philosophy of Facebook. Many church organizations have been kept off of there because the censor panel does not agree with it. Many conservative organizations have been banned or blocked from Facebook because they consider that content that they don't agree with. So what we've done is they have given us something free, and in return, we have given them our soul. And nothing is private. And you better understand that right now, because it's about to get a whole lot less private. And that's where we're going to go in the next segment. My name is Opal Singleton. This show is called Exploited Crimes and Technology. If you're willing to support our work so that we can keep your kids safe from predators, go to millionkids.org. Hit that donate button. Thank you. Be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced: The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer. Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and this show is brought to you by Million Kids. Our real business, the work that we normally do, is to keep kids safe from predators. We literally are just inundated right now, and we really are. And as we speak, we have a missing and runaway child. If you will go to millionkids.org and just go to Million Kids on Facebook, you will see that missing and runaway child. We send those flyers out to over 10,000 people here in the Inland Empire. If you want to sponsor that work, if you have some extra funding in your foundation, your corporation, to help us do that, I would really appreciate it. What you see is so many kids today never intended to run away. They meet somebody on Instagram, Snapchat, and they fall in love, and they go out thinking they're only going to meet him for 10, 15 minutes, and poof, they are gone. And we have a child right now that's 16 years old that the parents are just frantic. And we are doing our very best to get those flyers out and find out where they're at. She's out of Victorville, but she may be down here in the full part of the Inland Empire. So please go to millionkids.org and look at her photo and help us find her. And if you can help us fund Million Kids Missing Kids so we can get that out to hundreds of thousands of people, we would surely appreciate it. Just go to millionkids.org. We are talking about where this is going. Well, this is very important because what you have are very large companies that control everything about us, or at least absorb everything about us. What happens here is that companies like Apple and Facebook, Amazon, and Google are literally making money by gathering up everything about you. Even your refrigerator is what they call the Internet of Things. On your car computer, you have the Internet of Things, where they gather where you're going, what your gas mileage use. By the way, there's a new advancement on that. I think it's Allstate. They're positioning it really, really fine about how proud she is that she's a great driver, and so they give her a discount. That is because she's allowed that app in her car, and that app monitors whether or not she speeds. Hello, you ain't getting one of those babies in my car. Hello. Couldn't resist. Sorry. I speed. Yeah, I divert for a minute. Yeah. If they're going to do away with laws in the state of California, like you no longer, they're not going to enforce the illegal, what do you call it, the being a sanctuary city thing. They're not going to enforce that law. I'm like, if you're going to do away with the law, would you do away with the speeding law? Because I got to go places anyway. You get what I'm saying is that literally these major corporations are gathering everything about you and your child. And they will use that for influence. You see, already what you're seeing is corporations. And before they took a progressive approach. For instance, Kohl sent me a letter saying how much they support Black Lives Matter. Well, I don't shop at Kohl's because of their corporate position on a political issue one way or the other. And quite frankly, I have found that offensive for a long time. I do not want a corporation telling me how I should believe if I'm going to shop there. And so I struggle with that. Now, there is a good side of that. I happen to like Chick-fil-A, and I'm proud of them for not opening on Sunday and for not buckling under the pressure. So on the one hand, I suppose if it's a political something that I agree with, well, okay, maybe that's okay. But the day that Nike endorsed Kaepernick, I said, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to buy any more Nike. I don't care what it is. Why do I bother telling you that? Not to share my personal opinion. I don't normally get political on the radio, even though this is a conservative talk radio show. But the reason I share this with you is that we have moved from taking a corporate position and influencing you by saying this is how the corporation chooses to use their dollars, to using a corporation to censor you. For instance, now they're saying with Facebook, you have the right to censor. You have the right to say, we're going to do away with this tweet. We're not going to allow this post. And I say to myself, that has been going on in newspapers and journalism for a long time. They no longer are news. They have been telling you what you should be hearing in their mind, and only that. But the advantage of the internet is that you can still get both sides of an argument, and you could believe whatever you want. But what is happening is this is starting to become a way to influence your political position, whether it's Amazon or Google, whether it's Apple or Facebook. Why is this so important? Because they say, well, it's okay for a U.S. company to do that, but the biggest company in the world is TikTok, and they're Chinese, and they cannot come in and collect information from our child and use that to influence. So I'm going to tell you that we have started down a very crooked road. This is going to be a different way of life. And your child needs to understand that. If you are going to put them on the World Wide Web, they need to understand what the web is, how it works, and how to protect themselves very early on. Why do I tell you this? Because I worked out of Cambodia for a long time. I have been studying Cambodia for a very long time. In Cambodia, they had a single candidate vote, if you will, an election, if you will, for their prime minister, because the prime minister already took the competition and put them in jail for a YouTube that was aired here in America 6 years before. And then it went a step farther. They had a task force to review all the social media of all the people in Cambodia to make sure that they voted. You see, if they did not vote, it would be a vote against the prime minister. And so they wanted to make sure that everyone voted, even though they only had one person to vote for. They formed a task force, and they used all this information. Think about an app like TikTok, Apple, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. They all know your child's facial image. They know the location. They know the geolocation. They know their profile. And if they're on one of those live streaming apps, they know their telephone number. And in the future, 5 years from now, way past whatever we're talking about today, this will be archaic. Nobody will even remember I said it 5 years from now. But I'm going to tell you that 5 years from now, all of these companies will know everything about you and your child, who will then, by that time, most likely be a voting adult. And we have to think this out about nowhere to hide. The other reason I share this with you is this information is for sale. They can target your child. They can target your child. If your child's on there twerking, they already know your kid likes animated pornography. They already know that your kid is willing to twerk, and they like to walk on the wild side and take quick and easy way out. They know that your child is interested in earning some quick and easy money, and they will offer them TikTok Thought or Snapchat Cash so that they can monetize a selfie. And that is the direction that all of this will go. So I want you to think this out as we go down the road. Is technology bad? Nope. But if we are going to use it, we better understand it. And if we are going to put a 6-year-old child on there and allow them to be influenced by outside people, then we need to understand this. Why do I say that? last fall, I fought the fight with Teen Vogue magazine, who went in and did a very graphic article for kids 13 to 17 years old on how to have backside sex, okay, saying that you were still a virgin and it wasn't really sex. And that is for a kid who's only 13. And they reach them through our kids being on the internet, knowing who they are and what their tastes were. This was an internet offering out there, and it got millions of hits. We need to understand the world that we're living in. My name is Opal Singleton. This show is called Exploited Crimes and Technology. It is brought to you by Million Kids, MILLION, millionkids.org. I would very much appreciate it if you believe in this work, if you want to help us find missing and runaway kids and talk to parents whose kids are being in trouble and talking to kids. Go to millionkids.org. and hit that donate button. Help us out. We'd appreciate it a whole lot. Be right back.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, there are many good restaurants in the Inland Empire, but really great restaurants are hard to find. Let me tell you about the Toasted Barrel in Corona. It's a trendy, upscale steakhouse with great pasta and seafood. It's a fantastic choice for birthdays and anniversaries or just that special night out with your loved one and friends. Inland Empire magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant and Brunch for the past 3 years. The owners, Ed and Shirley, are friendly and attentive to your needs. If you're a prime rib connoisseur, this place is for you. Go ahead and try it out. The Toasted Barrel, located at 1300 El Sobrante Road in Corona. Or Google them at Toasted Barrel to make reservations. I guarantee you're going to love it. Be sure and tell Ed and Shirley that Opal sent you. It will be a night you'll never forget.
Nothing beats the services offered by Strike a Pose in Covina. From weddings, anniversaries, pregnancies, family heritage photos, or professional headshots for business cards and publicity, Jamie and Steve will do your makeup, get the perfect lighting and pose, and edit them so you look your best. These folks are the best in the business. Go online to strikeapose.net and make an appointment today.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton and we are talking about there is no place to hide. And I want to take this a step further. Not only is everything being recorded about us, okay, it's being profiled, it's being sold out there. And literally, it is exactly that way. Retailers are collecting it. Your grocery store is collecting it. Your drugstore is collecting it. Amazon collects it. Facebook collects it. Everywhere you go, they are collecting this information and using it to be able to make money. Well, it's going to get crazier because we are about to have a global cryptocurrency war. And it has already began to happen, but very few people are aware of it. It kind of started last fall when Facebook decided to issue called Libra. You know, most of you know about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. That's a fancy word for basically a computer digital wallet. You buy something, you give a credit when you buy something, and then you take that money back and you debit your account. And it's a digital wallet. It basically is a ledger, an electronic ledger, if you will, so that it allows money to be transferred. They've been transferring money for a long time electronically, like with PayPal and groups like this, but it's a cryptocurrency. Well, what happened is that Facebook decided to release their own, and Congress stopped them. And the reason they did that is they said, look, this might destabilize the U.S. dollar. And so at the same time that they were doing this, and it was under investigation, and they finally kind of have stepped back, what has happened is at the same time that is happening, I'm looking for this headline, what you're starting to see is a global cryptocurrency race. Now, keep in mind that Facebook was going to issue this so that you could buy and sell product through Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and WhatsApp, which they own. Over 1.6 billion people out there, and many of them are unbanked. I get the idea of the thing. If you're living in Malaysia and you're living on $5 a day, you don't have a bank account, you don't have a credit card, and you can't buy anything online, even though you have one of those cute little knockoffs that get you on the internet. And so what happens is they wanted to create their own currency and offer it out to 1.6 billion people. Congress shut them down. It was actually Maxine Waters that did that and said that it'll destabilize the U.S. dollar. At the same time, China now, keep in mind, TikTok is a Chinese company that is in the U.S. They're the biggest in the world, and in many of them are U.S. kids that are using it. And they decided to release and go with and support with China. What they're being investigated for is, are they taking your child's information and storing it in China? Well, they're saying, no, we have our own server in America. What they also say, though, is that they have a backup server in Singapore in case the first server crashes. Singapore is part of China. So, we talk out of both sides of our mouth here. But China is in the process of releasing a federal coin, a cryptocurrency that will be tied to social media and will be a federal currency. It will affect the U.S. dollar. Sweden already has one for the krona over there. And so what has happened is you are seeing something that just announced not long ago. U.S. lawmaker introduces Cryptocurrency Act of 2020 while under the coronavirus quarantine. So all this is taking place and not many people are talking about it. It's one of those in the shadows kinds of deals. So what they're talking about is, while Congress is preventing Facebook from getting their Libra, that the U.S. people are talking about creating a global cryptocurrency. Will it replace the U.S. dollar? We don't know that, do we? We absolutely don't know that. Already they're taking away our coins, and some of them are suggesting that dollar bills are dirty. And so will they or won't they? What we do know is the Chinese cryptocurrency processing process is 200,000 times faster than what Libra would have been. So it's all being looked at. But why is this important? Because they will not only just track your every search, your every location, and all your personal data, but if they have control of your every buy, sell, and research transaction for buying and selling, then they have control of your life, because they control your money, they control the information about you, they control the news that comes out to you, they control the truth as they perceive it, and they control others to not allow them to go in and make posts or tweet out something they may not agree with. Why do I tell you that? Because I want you to understand that we are moving into the societal shift, a world without borders, a home without walls. Because of COVID, our kids are younger and younger going on the internet, and this is all taking place in one big convergence. We are studying it. It's in transit. It's a fluid situation. It is changing. It will change daily. We know that, and we will keep you abreast. But in the meantime, our role is to rescue kids, to literally help parents find their runaway and missing kids, and sit with those kids and sit with the parents and help them get the services they need, the connection to law enforcement, and teach them and educate them. This is the reason why we will be coming out with a documentary in the first part of next year, so that we can educate your kids about these advanced technologies, and more important, where do naked photos go when you hit send, and why you never want to do that. Our organization is Million Kids, MILLION, millionkids.org. We are a small and local and mighty corporation. We don't have a lot of money, but when we get money, we use it to do our work. We serve the entire Inland Empire, just exactly where you are when you're hearing this. And we serve the kids and the parents and the families, and we educate right here in your community. If you want a cause that you believe in, that is local, that makes a difference to parents and grandparents, that makes a difference to teenagers and young kids. If you want to change a child's life and you want to keep the money locally and know that we are accountable, you can do that by going to millionkids.org, MILLION, millionkids.org. Hit that donate button. You can write to me, Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. Or the P.O. box is right there, but I'll give it to you. It's Million Kids, MILLION, millionkids.org, Million Kids, P.O. Box 7295, P.O. Box 7295, Riverside, California, 92513. Well, these are crazy, crazy times. I guess we got through all that technical stuff, but we don't know where this is going to end. We do see it all coming together. I hope this information is helpful to you. The show is archived at millionkids.org. You can simply go on there to the AM 590 and find the archives. If you want other people to listen to this show and they're not in the Inland Empire, especially next week at 3 o'clock, just have them go on am590theanswer.com. And in the meantime, I hope that you will share this show with everyone you know. If you want to sponsor this show, we always need more sponsors. We need sponsors for that Million Kids Missing Kids. If you want to help a parent find their missing and runaway kid and be able to make a difference by sending out literally tens and tens and tens of thousands of flyers for our missing kids, then the way you do that is to go to millionkids.org. My name is Opal Singleton, and I want you to know how much you mean to me. You know, these are hard times. I don't know any other way to say it. I have been doing this work for 12 years. We are in the toughest position we have ever been in our life because we met our commitment and funded that documentary, and it will be out and it will be free to schools across America. We did what we said we would do, and now we are in the process of making that. But now COVID has hit. We have not made a live presentation in 4 months. It's looking like now we may not make another one even going into the year end because people can't assemble. We support ourselves with speaker fees and with selling of books. If you want to order one of our books or one or both, go to millionkids.org. I'll sign it myself. We'll send it to you. It will support our work. And if you can find it in your heart to send us a donation, there has never been a time in our history that we need it more. So thank you very much. You folks have a great week. These are hard times. Put your arms around your kids, your spouse, your husband, your wife. Tell them how proud you are of them, how strong they are, and how proud you are to be in their family. You folks have a great week. See you next Saturday, 3 o'clock.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift, Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology, coming to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer. Hey, I want to tell you about one of my heroes, Doris Anderson. She's a realtor over at Remax Realty in Upland. Her phone number, 951-733-8899. Doris has pledged $500 from every house she closes. There's a woman who supports an important cause.